Man, what is up guys? Welcome back to Swish Life Garage with the boy KT. As always, you guys already know what it is. I got my Swish Life tee on. If you guys want to pick one up as well, I recommend you click the description box down below. I have a link to my online website. You guys can go ahead and pick up a tee, some decals. I already have some decals already made out and ready to ship. But if you guys are looking for a certain size decal, go ahead and let me know. I could get that made for you and send it on your way. Alrighty, today I'm going to be working on the F-150 Harley truck. Of course, if you guys saw my previous videos, I've done a ton of work onto this truck, so it's time to put in some more work. But I've been working on the rear end and really restoring it and assembling it back together after taking it all on out. So right now I really need to focus on the internals of the rear end. I'm going to be working on the bearings, the pinion, the differential, really throwing it all together. Now it is going to be a bit more difficult because, like I said previous, I am working on my driveway on the ground. So doing some of these things is a little bit more difficult than if the rear end was on the outside. But you guys already know me, I'm going to get the job done no matter what. And now I know this video is probably going to be a bit lengthy, so without taking any more time, let's go ahead and dig right in. Now in the last vid I did rebuild the calipers, did new hoses, the brake lines, everything looking real clean. We're almost ready to roll. Next thing I need to do, I need to work on the internals. So I need to work on the actual differential, on the pinion, on the bearings, and on the seals, all that. Right here I got the pinion. If you guys saw on one of my other videos, I did put on the bearing. I do have the bearings on here. That's a nice fit. Bearings are ready to roll. The pinion is ready to go. Now for this pinion, this is actually a 373. If you guys see on there, it says 373. And the other pinion that I had inside of the rear end previously, because I got it from a salvage yard, if you guys don't know, the rear end had a 355. And so a 373 is going to be a little bit more torqueier. It's not much of a difference from going to like 410 gears, but you are going to feel a difference. Now here's the pinion yoke. I did paint this previously, and so this is ready to go. Now right here we're going to have our seals. If you guys want to get the part numbers for everything, National Oil Seals 4278. And then here's national bearings. This is going to be the other pinion bearing that goes on the top end, and this one HM89443. Then we have the races. Here's the race HM89411, and then the bigger race for the main bearing is NP434567. Now for this other bearing here, here's the original box, Timken NP576375. And then for the crush sleeve, I did get a new crush sleeve from Yukon. Here's the packaging, Yukon gear and axle, and this part number YSPCS002. Also we have 33085. It's going to really cover it for what I'm going to be using for the pinion. You want to as well put some grease on the splines here, so whenever you meet it up with the yoke, you know, it'll have an easier time going on in. I'm going to have to take off that differential cover as well. So I got the cover off. I took off the tape I had on the other side. First thing I'm going to do is put on the races. Go and put on that one big race right here for that main pinion bearing. You're going to wet it with some rear axle fluid. So whatever you're using, this is what I'm going to be putting into my rear axle. This is from Ford, synthetic rear axle lubricant. And this is what it states it's supposed to use along with the LSD. I'm going to get the big race out, which is right here. If you're going to use a brand new bearing, you got to use a brand new race. I'm just going to wet it down with some oil right here. It's going to go all around. It's going to make it easier to install as well. You don't want that metal on metal contact like that. Put some into the axle too. Just spread that around. Then I have the race installer tool. Alright, so the race is inside of there. Was pretty hard to get started because it keeps going in cockeyed. It keeps going into one side, then the other side not going in. Guys, so hopefully you can see pretty good. But I'm going to put the race that's supposed to go on this side. That's going to be the Timken right here. and the HM89411. So just take this out. And then the same thing, you're going to put some oil around in there to lubricate it, and then some oil on the race. Oh yeah. Nice and lubey. You never want to go in dry. So this is just going to go in here. And I'm going to try to get it started, man. Little something like that. Little something. Alright, hopefully this goes in easy, mine. Oh, hell no. You serious, my G?
Okay, where do you want me to hit?
Bottom.
Bottom. Okay, how's that?
Almost.
Still a little more?
Right here.
Okay. Oh, well. You going?
Yeah, now it's down here.
Okay.
Probably be good with the tool now, huh?
How's that? Is it going in straight?
Yeah, I feel it going in.
Oh, right there. That's it.
Right now I need to put in the bearing. This is going to be the HM89443 along with the oil slinger. But we'll put this in first. Just add some oil. Load it up. And there. You have the oil slinger. Now going to be putting the seal. This is the 4278. On this one you're going to put some silicone just on the edges, so whenever you put it down it's going to seal it permanently, and there's no problems in the future. That's the way they do it from factory. Alright, so that whole tube from Ford was actually no good. So I have some other silicone here that I used on a friend's Mercedes, so I'm just going to use this. Basically, it's like if my truck is a Mercedes. I'll just put some on here on the edges, spread it around, go around time. You just need a little bit. I'm probably going to be wiping a lot of this off, to be honest. Guys, so now it is time to install the pinion. I have it right here with the bearing on, with the crush washer on, and I took off the nut. What I'm going to do right now is grease up these splines right here. It's going to meet with the yoke, so you want to grease this side up, and as well you want to grease the yoke up. So as well, I do have the plastic ring over here. It just protects the pinion from getting damaged as far as for the seal. So that's what I'm going to be using as well. You don't want to forget this. Also, I'm going to be lubing up the main bearings on the pinion right here. And then I'm just going to lube up the pinion seal, just the rubber around it, so it's not dry. Alright, so this is all good to go. It's nice and lubed. Just going to stick it in. And it's a bit heavy, so make sure to catch it on the other side. Just going to hold it in there. And you put on the plastic ring. Actually, I'm going to move you guys to the other side. That plastic ring is going to go right here. If you could hold it, hold it. And then you're going to try to throw on the pinion yoke at the same time. God damn. This ain't working. Hold on. Alright, so now that is started, I got the yoke tool right here to hold it. Gonna put in some of the bolts to hold it so it won't spin on me. I only have it by one bolt just because it won't completely hold with the breaker bar in there. I guess just because the yoke is so big. So I'm gonna tighten it down with this impact, electric impact. Alright guys, so I torqued it down to 160 foot-pounds. That's what the spec calls for. To be honest, it took a lot of work, especially working from underneath the truck. But everything is on there. It spins as it should. So now the pinion seal, the pinion bearings are all good to go. As you guys can see, there is the pinion sitting in there. 373 gear. Everything's coming together very nicely. Can't wait to see this thing all put together. Alright guys, so it is the next day. You guys saw me install the pinion. You could go ahead and test the preload on that if you already know what the preload should be. I believe with new bearings it should be around about 25 inch-pounds. That's something you could take a look into. Now I did find this spec online and everyone was saying it was about 160 pounds. I'm not really tripping about the preload because it feels pretty good. You could go ahead and just take that additional step. I'm not saying it's wrong. Now right now you guys might be asking, why do I have the caps on? It's because I was just testing the fit on them. I was making sure I didn't for some reason swap the caps, you know, have the left one on this side and the right one. The caps actually have a ridge, so you can tell which side is going to be on which. You know, you're not going to flip it around and do it on that side. If you were for some reason misplace them and switch them around, all you have to do is get a caliper like this, a digital caliper. Once it's able to go in, you're going to see where it's at directly across from each other, and then you're just going to go around on it. If it seems to be like a perfect circle, then you have the right one on the right side. If it seems to be off, then you most likely have them switched around. This one is a perfect circle. The reason why you don't want to switch them is because these are made at the same time they make the outer casing, and when they drill them, you know, they drill them with the caps on. So if you flip them around, you won't have a perfect circle and it's going to mess up the bearings, so you don't want to do that. Also, for the bolts, when you're test fitting, you could just go ahead and hand tighten it pretty tight just with the ratchet. You don't have to go ahead and torque them. I don't believe it's necessary, just to test fit it. I'm going to take these off and I'm going to get everything ready. Basically the whole internals, as far as for the differential, pinion, and the bearings right here, are going to be from the original rear end. The only thing that I'm using from the salvage rear end is obviously the casing and as well the caps. The other thing is the actual shafts, but that's all we're using from the original one. I'm not worried about changing the bearings from the original one, just because it only had like 88,000 miles on it and it was very well taken care of. Now I did do the pinion bearing, but you know, that was more of a why not situation, but I'm not really tripping about these other bearings. Alright guys, so here we have the carrier here, the differential with the ring gear, and this is a 975. The way you know is because it is stamped on here. Let me see, oh actually right here. So it's a 975 with the 373. That is what came with this 2003 Harley. As I said, the bearings look very nice on it. There's like no wear on it. There's the LSD clutches. I don't know if you guys could see them right there. And then on this side, you see the clutch pack. This salvage rear end did have a LSD, but it was obviously burnt out, and as well it was on a 355, but it was a 975 as well. Now I got everything ready to go here. I got the bearing races along with the shims. The shims are different sizes, so hopefully if you're doing this job, hopefully you kept them separated from left and right. Alright, so if you guys saw, I did get this in. It worked pretty well with the plastic hammer. One of the problems I had is with this left shim, it wouldn't go in just because it is a tight fit, obviously. I used one of the shims from the rear end and just hit it shim on shim with the plastic blow hammer, and that seemed to do the trick, and everything fit right in. The bearing caps are all the way down. Now I'm gonna torque them down to 105 foot-pounds. The bearing caps are tightened down to 105 foot-pounds, and so this is feeling very nice. Next thing you want to check is the backlash. What the backlash is when it hits from tooth to tooth. So you rock it back and forth right there. If you can even hear it hit. Hold on. That's what the backlash is, but I'm going to be measuring how much play there is. What you want is from 0.08 to 0.12. If there's more play, then going to most likely have to switch the shims around. I might have switched them up. Since I'm using an OEM differential with the same shims, I shouldn't have an issue, but you never know. You still want to check. This is what I'm going to be using to check it. And to be honest, I just bought it just for this. You want to go ahead and spend the right amount of money on the right tools to make sure you're doing the job right, or else you're going to mess up your rear end. You're going to have chipped teeth, you're going to have messed up bearings. It's going to cost you more money in the long run when you should have just bought the tool, did it right the first time. Alright, there it is right there. I know that was quite a bit of information and work being done here, but you know, this really is like the main part. After this, I just have a few more things to do and I'm gonna have this thing rolling on the streets. Now, just to go back a little bit, like I said, you can go ahead and test out the Pinion and, you know, spin it with one of those inch-pound torque wrenches. It should be at 25 inch-pounds with the new bearings, so I recommend to go ahead and do that to just make sure you do the job right. Unless you've been doing these differentials, you know, quite a while, you could kind of feel it, but still, you always want to make sure and check it off the list so there's no thought about it later on in the future if anything was to happen. One other thing that I had missed on recording is getting the paint on the differential and spinning it to make sure it's making the correct contact on the pinion. So that's another step you guys could take as well, just to verify that everything is installed properly. If you guys don't know exactly what I'm speaking about, go ahead and just do a quick search, differential and pinion install, and I'm pretty sure you're going to find a lot of information, more informational than probably my video. But of course, my videos are more of a documentary on, you know, my projects, on my builds. So hopefully you guys enjoy these. And also, if you guys have any questions, just drop them down below in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, I want you to go ahead and click that subscribe button down below along with the bell notifications. And if you're a new subscriber, go ahead and let me know. Just drop a comment and say what's up. I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys. You know, I want to get more interactive with you guys, but of course it's going to take some work and some time, but like I said before, you guys know I'm going to get it done. Now that is it for this video. There's going to be a little bit more videos on this truck as well, as far as for the rear end. I know it's been quite a bit of videos, but you know, I gotta take care of the priorities, gotta make sure everything gets touched on. I still have some Prelude, some Del Sol videos coming up, as well as the motorcycle and, you know, some other projects around the house that need to get done. So make sure you guys are staying tuned and staying up to date with the videos being put out. But that's going to be the end of this video, guys. If you guys stay to the very end, I really do appreciate it. Let me know if you did down below in the comment section. But as always, guys, I'm gonna have to catch you on the next one. Play.